Marshall County High School active shooter. People down, one unresponsive.
A 15-year-old male student walked into the school with a pistol in his hand, immediately opened fire.
Chaos at a Kentucky high school. A teenage gunman opens fire as school is about to start. 2 have been killed. Another 3 are in critical condition. More than a dozen others hurt. This morning, we're learning more about what happened and the possible suspect in this tragic situation. Our team is bringing you complete team coverage of this breaking story here this morning. Casey Cunningham live in Marshall County right now with what we know, and Kayla Van Meter has more on how local schools prepare for a tragic situation like this.
Expect more right now. You're watching Wave 3 News. Expect more right now. You're watching Wave 3 News.
I got a 7-year-old little girl and some older boys, and if it was one of our kids, I'd expect the same.
Frantically searching for a 2-year-old with special needs who's been missing since yesterday morning. Ahead, we are live from the command center where crews worked overnight in their search for the child. They're going to pick it up again this morning. Here, Jabina Forson's live with where their search stands right now. And we'll be taking you live to New York this morning. Ken Taylor has a live report ahead of the Belmont and Justify's historic run at the Triple Crown. Look how beautiful it is there this morning. Well, we're busy here in the newsroom. A lot going on, more than many days here this week so far. It's a back-to-school day, last day of school day for many kids.
With Alert Day coverage right now, this is Wave 3 News.
Right now on our Alert Day, we are taking a look at our network of cameras and live sources here this morning as we are watching rainfall. It's creating flash flooding right now and historic flood levels for the Ohio River in the next few days.
We got a lot of video already right there showing the damage been done in the area. We're going to have complete coverage right now of what's being affected.
And live pictures from multiple areas of flooding here this morning. Wave 3 News reporters Jabina Fortson, Kayla Van Meter out in the trouble spots. You can see there on the left, a car halfway underwater. We will talk to both of them coming up in just 1 minute.
Well, good morning to you here at 6:33 on your Friday. Alert Day coverage here. The floodgates are going up. It's a real mess out there. Please be careful if you're heading out this morning. Still dark, and you're going to run up on water where you did not think it would be.
We have 2 problems. We had the flash flooding this morning with the round of rain that is rolling through, and then we have the river flooding that will only be aggravated by what we're seeing this morning in the next several days.
Because you guys are so precise, we can plan for the river flooding.
Absolutely.
This stuff this morning, though, you can't plan for.
Yeah, and we do have some good news just in here at 6:30 this morning. That flash flood warning that was in effect for Clark and Floyd counties till 8:15. National Weather Service allowing that to be canceled. So that's some good news. We are seeing some improvements as we take a live look here at radar this morning.
Alert Day coverage right now. This is Wave 3 News.
Yeah, it's an alert day right now with several school closings and delays at the bottom of your screen. They're scrolling there, and what a mess we have outside.
Yeah, big mess. We're keeping a close eye on the roads here this morning. A lot of problems we're tracking here. Live look right now from our storm tracker. You can see emergency crews there on the scene. We have a lot of issues with power lines, accidents, and people just plain old stuck where they are this morning. We'll bring you complete team coverage right now of our alert day. We'll check in live with Kayla Van Meter. She is covering all over Kentucky. We have Jobina. She's in southern Indiana this morning. Full service here on Wave 3
Can I pick the scene that I want since we have 9? I'll just take our little patio. You want to go back there for breakfast when we get off the air? Okay.
A little coffee.
Not as much snow back there.
Let's check in with meteorologist Brian Good, kicking off our team coverage here on this alert day because, Brian, we have really heavy snow working through parts of Jefferson County right now.
Yeah, as you saw from the storm tracker, you saw the snow on the roadway, not just slush, but snow-covered roads we are talking about this morning.
With Alert Day coverage right now, this is Wave 3 News.
Alert Day coverage continues right now. Several school closings and delays right now. They're scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, JCPS off school this morning. We're keeping an eye on the severe road conditions right now. We have a look at Live Drive and our SkyTrack cameras over Wave Country. Live look there at Spaghetti Junction this morning. Our team coverage continues right now. Kayla Van Meter and Jabina Fortson. They have live reports coming up in just a few minutes in Kentucky and also southern Indiana. But first, we need to check in with meteorologist Brian Good.
Look at Jabina. She looks like she's in Saskatchewan this morning out there, and that snow coming down. You were just out in it. It's really coming down.
Oh, it is beautiful out there. If you don't have to drive in it, it's a beautiful snow. But if you do have to drive, though, it's not so pretty. I get that. But right now, we are dealing with this moderate to heavy snowbank. In fact, just got a report in. of 7 inches of snow in DeBullock County, not far from Shepherdsville. So this band of snow, it has not moved much at all. I should point that out. Take a look at the animation I'm talking about here. You see that darker blue? It has been expanding at times, but it has barely moved compared to what we had earlier with the snow band.
Expect more right now. You're watching Wave 3 News.
Take a look, 16 games on display right now with some major upsets affecting the future matchups here for the Cats. Ahead, hear from UK after their opening round win and the bracket-busting loss for Arizona, meaning the Cats are going to play Buffalo. We have the full details ahead. Oh, it's a great time to be alive, isn't it, with all that going on? And that's not even a sports bar over there. Good morning. Welcome in. Raise your hand if you had Buffalo over Arizona.
Yeah,
Lauren
baby.
Jones had it.
And I had Loyola winning as well. I think
You
a few
did?
people, I did, yes.
All right, well,
and I'm going to lose from here on out.
So Lauren's doing weather today, so you better pay attention to what she says. She's on a streak here of accuracy.
I'm going to get 100% of this forecast right. In fact, U of L ladies playing today, wearing the red, busting that out, excited for them as well. We have a lot of basketball, a lot of stuff going on, and our forecast all over the place. 4 seasons.
We can't string 2 beautiful days together.
Nope.
Yesterday was so fantastic.
Bringing the bearer of bad news this morning, everybody. 6 o'clock right now. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with when you step out the door this morning.
With breaking news happening now, this is Wave 3 News.
6:30. Wow, look at this. Breaking on Sunrise. A police officer killed during a pursuit in southern Indiana. Line of squad cars right here following the officer being taken away.
And just minutes before that, the officers were seen giving a salute as the body was loaded into the ambulance. Video right there. This happened around 11:30 last night near the intersection of State Road 3 and State Road 56 in Scottsburg.
Wave 3 News reporter Kayla Van Meter live on the scene this morning in Scott County. So you just received some more information about the officer.
Yeah, 35 years old with Charlestown City Police for 9 years, and we know he left this deadly scene, his body, with respect and honor, as his fellow officers made sure that was the case as the ambulance drove away earlier this morning. You can see State Road 3 behind me picking up with traffic. It meshes with State Road 56. This area has reopened since investigators have cleared the scene early this morning around 4:30. We know backing up, though, around 10:30 last night is when all of this began. It started near Charlestown, and ISP telling us this morning that Sergeant Benton Bertram was in Charlestown attempting to make a traffic stop. The suspect, 23-year-old Benjamin Eads of Freedom, Indiana, was driving a 98 Toyota Corolla. Well, ISP says that Eads would not stop for the officer, so Sergeant Bertram drove after him down State Road 3 into Scott County. That chase ending right here at the intersection of State Road 3 and State Road 56. For those familiar, we know this area, that intersection actually makes a Y, a dangerous spot according to some neighbors. We know this is the area that Bertram then was swerving left off the road, crashing into a tree. ISP tells us he was pronounced dead here at the scene. We see officers saluting his body as it was placed inside an ambulance, clinging to one another during this devastating time this morning. Just moments ago, we actually spoke to a neighbor who says she saw it all, even saw the suspect driving away.
They went over the little hump and the police officer hit the tree and died in the scene, and the other car swung around in the field and back out the driveway and headed back toward 56 toward Madison, and they chased him on that way.
Police finally caught up with Eads in Clark County. He's in custody right now in the Scott County Jail, facing several charges this morning: resisting arrest, resisting law enforcement, causing death rather, along with auto theft. 2 felonies out of both Clark and Scott counties this morning. We know all of this still under investigation with ISP. Again, we know that Officer Bertram had been with Charlestown City Police for 9 years. Just moments ago, I was on social media updating all the newest information. Someone actually tweeting me saying that Officer Bertram was, quote, one of the good ones. For now, reporting live in Scottsburg, Kayla Van Meter, Wave 3 News.
Okay, also at 6:33, we have a major traffic problem in the junction right now. Live picture behind us of an overturned semi.
Yeah, we are just getting word part of the interstate is closed here this morning. Let's get right to Brian Good with the latest on this breaking traffic news. Brian.
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, here's the latest setup. This is in the heart of the junction itself, a very popular route here. If you're traveling from 64 or 71 and you want to get south onto 65, this ramp is your only way to get to that point. And it is, you can see here, colored in purple now, closed off. And here's a live look again of that semi. I know it's hard to see. It's not lit very well. It is on its side. You see emergency crews on the scene as well. Now, there are 2 lanes to work with, but let me show you this photo that one of our Wave viewers sent in, and you see the problem here. Here it is on its side, but look at the shine. It looks like fuel has leaked out from it, covering both lanes here. So that's a cleanup process, and that's likely the reason for the shutdown. Not only to mention they got to get it back upright again. So this is going to be a long duration event, it looks like, all the way through rush hour. So if you're trying to exit at this point, you're likely going to have to exit at Melwood if you can and cut through Frankfort Avenue and to the side streets to try to get into downtown Louisville and then try to reconnect again at 1st Street to 65. That's about your only option at this point. If you can exit early enough, or exit at Grinstead, and maybe that will help you out too, cutting through Lexington. All right, another crash on Dixie Highway heading toward Rockford Lane, and got another report of a crash. It's 71 near the Waterston, but so far I'm not seeing any backups from that. So we got a lot to monitor. We'll keep an eye on this. Tawana, Andrew, you're monitoring the radar because the rain is starting to light up to the south.
Got to get back to the big story we've been following this morning here in Bullitt County. The frantic search continuing right now for this missing little girl with special needs. It's 2-year-old Charlie Campbell, who has autism. She vanished from her grandma's home on Winding Hollow Road, right here in Lebanon Junction, very hilly, rural area. Wave 3 News reporter Jabina Fortson is live for us this morning from the command center. She's going to tell us where the search stands right now. What's the latest, Jabina?
Good morning. We just had a long conversation really with the fire chief, the Southeast fire chief here. He's helping to lead this effort. What he's telling us is that they're going to put 6 search dogs out this morning. They're working on doing that right now just because it's going to be so warm. They don't want a lot of people on the ground. They also do not, he says they do not want any volunteers out here. He says it's really been making things difficult, even though he realizes that some people feel they might know the area well. Some people hunt out here and they think that they will help them. They say, no, please stay home. That's the best thing they can do right now. Also, he does note, though, because we're in such a rural area, a lot of people, their homes out here and their yards are much, much larger than your typical backyard. So he is asking, if you're on your property, feel free to look in any crook and crevice, anything in your area that you might know it's a spot where a 2-year-old might be able to fit into. You can definitely do that. Otherwise, please, they're asking to just have people stay out of the way. If you are in your yard or if you are in a place that is not interfering with the investigation, here's what you need to know very quickly, that Charlie is 37 pounds. She is about 3 feet tall and was last seen wearing pajamas with the designs from the movie Frozen on them. For now, reporting live in Lebanon Junction, Jobina Fordson, Wave 3 News.
Also breaking news, police investigating a shooting near Okolona. So the 3100 block of Dupin Drive. Our crew on the scene right now tells us that MetroSafe confirms one person was shot. There's no word on the severity of the injuries. You can see quite an area cordoned off with the crime scene tape right there as police investigate. We're going to have the very latest updates here on the Wave3.com, the Wave 3 News app. Breaking this morning, the Austin serial bomber is believed dead. Investigators giving a live update right now. We're going to have more with what they say about the confrontation with police following 5 previous blasts. That's straight ahead.
With Alert Day coverage right now, this is Wave 3 News.
Yeah, it's an alert day right now with several school closings and delays at the bottom of your screen. They're scrolling there, and what a mess we have outside.
Yeah, big mess. We're keeping a close eye on the roads here this morning. A lot of problems we're tracking here. A live look right now from our storm tracker. You can see emergency crews there on the scene. We have a lot of issues with power lines, accidents, and people just plain old stuck where they are this morning. We'll bring you complete team coverage right now of our alert day. We'll check in live with Kayla Van Meter. She is covering all over Kentucky. We have Jobina. She's in southern Indiana this morning. Full service here on Wave 3
Can I pick the scene that I want since we have 9? I'll just take our little patio. You want to go back there for breakfast when we get off the air? Okay.
A little coffee.
Not as much snow back there.
Let's check in with meteorologist Brian Good, kicking off our team coverage here on this alert day, because Brian, we have really heavy snow working through parts of Jefferson County right now.
Yeah, as you saw from the storm tracker, you saw the snow on the roadway, not just slush, but snow-covered roads we are talking about this morning. Notice the radar trends. This stands out when you look at this loop. You see, this is an area that has temperatures below freezing and snow that continues to fall. That's also where our storm tracker is, where it's 29 degrees right now, where Kayla Van Meter is right now, according to the sensor on the vehicle itself. And Kayla, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we're in the Barber Manor subdivision, and this is out here off Wolfpen Branch Road near Brownsboro Road as well. We pulled off into the subdivision because we had reports of a wire down in a backyard and possibly causing some issues with the fire. So I'll go ahead and flip the camera around and show you not only the conditions of the road poor here in this subdivision and leading up to the subdivision, but right now we're watching the fire department along with LG&E try to figure out exactly what's taking place. I do see, it's hard to see from this camera view, but I can see officials in the backyard of this home shining a flashlight up and down all around. I can see that light moving around back there. As we step outside of the vehicle, we actually smelled something burning. So again, I'm not able to confirm exactly what that is, but we can see that fire crews are here along with LG&E to actually pinpoint exactly what the issue is. And if you look down here below the lights that are flashing down onto the road, you can see again, not only just ice, black ice, slush, and wet roads, but this is accumulation here on the roadway here in this subdivision of Barber Manor. Very similar to what you'll see throughout eastern Jefferson County where we've been all morning. Plow trucks are out and about. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet dispatched their crews yesterday afternoon. They've been flipping shifts around since then to make sure they're covering as much ground as possible. We know here closer to Oldham County, Henry County, Trimble counties all hit the hardest here when it comes to eastern Louisville and Jefferson County in this way. So again, we're keeping an eye on what's happening out here. Hopefully we'll be able to give you an update soon as to exactly what's taking place at this scene, and we'll continue to update road conditions as we travel throughout Wave Country. For now, reporting live in the Storm Tracker, Kayla Van Meter, Wave 3 News.
All right, 6:04 now. Alert Day team coverage continues now from the other side of the river.
Wave 3 News reporter Jabina Fortson live right now in New Albany. Jabina, I know you've been there since the morning started. Have you seen things get worse? What's the latest?
Oh, yes, Lauren. Meteorologist Tawana Andrew texted me and said moderate snow is headed your way. It's here. The flakes are so much larger. I hope the camera is really able to pick up what we're seeing out here. Big difference. But there's also a big difference in the roadways. When I first got down here, I said that things were slick. Look at this. This is State Street in downtown New Albany. We have a car coming down here, and you can just see how easily they are able to pass through here. Completely clear. Look at that. Just drive on by, really clear here. But our photographer, Justin Hawkins, picked up something really interesting, a neat observation. This tree shows you where the wind is blowing in the direction of the snow, because nothing on this side, but if you walk around here, the snow is completely packed up. So all of this is coming from this direction. The snow is really picking up in this area, so I can imagine that the trucks will continue to keep coming down this way. NDOT says pretty smooth day for the most part on the road, so that's a good sign for commuters as they leave the house this morning. And we will have another update for you coming up in the next half hour. For now, live in New Albany, Jobina Fortson, Wave 3 News.
Of course, stay ahead of the winter weather this morning and the spring storms we will come over the coming months by downloading the free Wave 3 News and Weather app in your app store. We'll have much more on this winter storm coming up in just a few minutes. Okay, so we got to give you an update now on this big breaking news story this morning. The Austin bombing suspect now dead. This is look at the live update they're giving. Law enforcement is giving to reporters and all that, but we've got the information here. He's just about wrapping up here. A law enforcement source says the suspected bomber blew up a device inside a vehicle on an Austin interstate, killing himself as the SWAT team approached him. Police had tracked down the suspect at a hotel. Then he drove away and police followed him up onto the interstate and he blew himself up. This all happened just in the past couple of hours. Police not naming the person yet. They're working right now to find out how the man spent the past 24 hours and if there are any other explosive devices in the Austin area. That's the really big question, because you know what's been happening with these packages blowing up. We will continue to follow the latest developments right here on Wave 3 News Sunrise. This morning, a mass shooting at a Kentucky high school. 2 students killed, their classmate expected to be charged with murder. 14 other students were shot this morning. 3 are in critical condition. Police have the suspected gunman in custody, but so far no motive's been released. The shooting happened just before 8 yesterday morning at Marshall County High, before classes had started. 15-year-old Bailey Holt died at the scene. 15-year-old Preston Cope pronounced dead later at the hospital. Police haven't released the name of the suspected shooter. We do know he is a 15-year-old student. The Associated Press snapped this photo of a person being led away from the school
in handcuffs. Check it out. The police have not said that that's the gunman. This suspect is expected to be charged with murder and attempted murder. Police aren't sure if he'll be charged as an adult or a juvenile.
Well, for the students and teachers inside the school at the time of the shooting, it was pure horror. 4 people were hurt trying to escape as the gunman opened fire. Here's video showing the chaos as students are trying to flee the scene here. A 15-year-old girl died at the school. 5 were then flown to the closest level 1 trauma unit there in Benton's, where that shooting took place. That hospital in Nashville, some 120 miles away. A 15-year-old boy died at the hospital there. 3 people still in critical condition this morning. This horrific situation unfolded just before school started around 8 yesterday morning.
I was standing there with my friends and I heard like 2 shots, and I turned around and behind me I see like this big figure of a person, and I just see like fire coming from a gun.
Isabella Hoytstrat says students started screaming and running, trying to get away. She went to the weight room where a teacher stood by the door.
One of our first troopers to arrive on the scene saw the young lady that died there on the scene and thought it was his daughter, because she had been dropped off at the school this morning as well. Same clothing description, same description. And he had to go over to convince himself that that was not his daughter.
Oh, the school has nearly 1,150 students. It's a small farming town. The school will be closed for the next several days while police process the crime scene.
Well, numerous vigils held all across Benton and Marshall County. Wave 3 News reporter Casey Cunningham is live at the school this morning with more on the effect this is having on the people there.
Good morning, John, Lauren. Yeah, Benton, a small town, only about 5,000 people that live here. So everyone we've talked to, everyone we've run into is really touched by this, knows someone inside the school or is even related to some of the victims. The school, of course, canceled today here in Marshall County. You can see this is the high school, one of the entrances of the high school behind us, and police lights flashing, still very much an active crime scene. Services held across the county last night, vigils, fundraisers through the night and again today. People visited services and vigils like this one at First Christian Church, looking for ways to find comfort and strength through this entire ordeal. Most people here, of course, know someone or some family members with a connection to the school, and they're shaking. They tell us they're grieving.
We had children and youth that were there, and teachers there, and lots of people are grieving. And as a community, we need healing.
Through all of this storm and chaos
The school superintendent released a statement expressing his gratitude for the courage of teachers and first responders. He released a statement earlier yesterday saying, hold on to your children close tonight as you gather together at churches, vigils, homes, and please bear with us as we struggle to return to a sense of normalcy. We will continue our coverage out here in Marshall County as we hear more from the victims, from family members, and from people out here in Marshall County. Reporting live, Casey Cunningham, back to you.
All right, Casey, we'll check back with you soon. We want to continue our team coverage here this morning with Wave 3 News reporter Kayla Van Meter. She has much more on JCPS and how they are responding this morning.
Yeah, on behalf of JCPS, the interim superintendent, Marty Polio, reaching out to the superintendent in Marshall County, not only offering condolences, but saying, hey, here's my personal cell phone number. If there's anything you need, any resources within JCPS, they're at your disposal. It was just last night that JCPS held a school board meeting and a moment of silence as well for the victims in Marshall County. With JCPS being such a large district, Polio says there's a lot to offer in terms of grief counselors and other resources, and he wants them to know they are welcome to use it all. Polio spoke with the Marshall County superintendent yesterday.
Most important was to send our support to them and let them know we're thinking about them. We're all educators, and we, are essentially all in the same family, working to do the same thing. And so it breaks our heart, just like it does educators all across the state.
In the wake of yesterday's shooting, Polio reminding JCPS principals to review their policies and procedures, but he doesn't anticipate any changes in security moving forward. Coming up in the next half hour, hear from KSP about how practices and procedures are given to students, training is held within schools, and hear how it specifically impacted Marshall County. For now, reporting live at the Van Hoos Education Center, Kayla Van Meter, Wave 3 News.
And we will have much more coverage ahead on this breaking story. And right now on the Wave 3 News app, you can read more of the comments from Governor Matt Bevin, who went to Marshall County yesterday, plus political reaction from across Kentucky and the nation.